Okay, guys, right. Thank you for watching this channel. This is Mr. J. All right, so I have received a question from a student asking me about the questions involving, we call that the product rule. And of course, it's not just purely this question, but of course, with that, how can we actually follow up with the integration of something similar to this? So the very first thing we would look at is, okay, how can we actually do something like this? Okay, so I just would like to grab a pen first and share with you how this can be done, right? So, of course, if you look at this is the first time I'm using Canva as a whiteboard. So do bear with me if you find that this kind of look like not so professional. Okay. So let's start with this first, shall we? Okay. So can I just get it written over here? All right. Let's see whether I have got the pens. Okay. Let's pick a blue one and let's make it even a darker. Okay. And I want it to be also bigger, if possible. Is it possible? Not quite, huh? Okay, maybe over here, right? So, yep, let's make it a little bit weighty with less transparency. Okay, let's see whether it works over here. All right, it's too big, right? So, can I just do it a little bit more, right? So, do bear with me. A little bit greedy over here. I'll just start with maybe a 7, right? Okay, I'm good with this. Maybe pick a blue. Yep. Okay, and let's start again, right? Okay, all right, so whatever, right? So now let's talk about this for once. It's like, okay, how can we actually solve the questions that has been given to us? So the very first thing is I need you guys to look at this with me. Okay, what do I need you to do? I would like you to have a look at it like this. Now, look at this with me. Now, this is what we call a product. Now, you probably ask, Joe, why is this a product? Now, because I need to see that this is an X, right? Now, so it has got X in it. And if you think about it, now the exponential that we are looking at also has X in it. Okay, so to speak is that this is considered a product rule that you're going to use. It's a product over here. And you will only use a product rule, or you should use a product rule if these two that you're looking at that are supposed to be together has got X in them. So right now, I would like you to have your attention on this. Sorry about this. A little bit too much for me. Okay, so I want you to use the product rule. So what is the product rule, you ask? Okay, so I need to think about it. If I need to do a differentiation of this, okay, this is just too much. So because it's the first time I'm doing this, okay, so I will start with it. Sorry, my bad. Okay, let's start with this. So you are supposed to do a differentiation of this. So if I want you to do a d and a dx, right, of this, okay, what happens? Okay, so now let's just write the question down again. So now please have a look at it with me. This is x times e to the power negative 2x. And you will use the product rule. Okay, so let's go. So the very first thing is, let's have a look at the first one here. We have got x. So I need you to differentiate this first. So what is the differentiation of x? Maybe just a 1. Okay, so 1. Okay, then you multiply with the original over here. That will be 1 times negative 2x. Okay, so 1 times e to the power negative 2x. That is for the first term. And the second thing you need to do is to, of course, in the product rule, you can actually add. The next thing is, of course, you need to differentiate this part over here. So what happened is this. Look at this. This is negative 2x, right? So you need to differentiate negative 2x, which is actually just negative 2. Okay? All right. Once you have done that, okay, please repeat the exponential over here with the power of negative 2x. Now, do not confuse this with the normal power, okay, that you differentiate. And then last but not least, multiply with the original over here. Okay, so what happened is this, we are going to simplify this a little bit. So this is actually e to the power of negative 2x. Have a look at it, huh? And we have got negative and positive, so it becomes minus. and then 2 and x. Okay, just write it down, 2x. And then this is still there. Now, like I explained to my students or even some of you, is that if you have seen this, right, a product rule, the challenge is not in so-called applying the product rule. Instead, it is the simplification that we are now looking at that is actually crucial because that gives you the full marks over here. So you need to see that you have got a common term which you need to take away that or take out if you want to see that way. So that would be e to the power of negative 2x and then 1 minus 2x. All right. Now, this is actually the answer that you can actually show. Some of you might be thinking, can I make this positive? Yes, you could, but it is not a must because depending on the marks awarded. So if it's going to be just a 2 marks, then or 3 marks, you probably do not want to be too exaggerated, right? So we'll just put it like this for the answer, okay? Because I have to show you how do we do the next question over here. And that is, how do you integrate this? Now, before we do this, please take note of this word. So what is this? This is telling you that you need to use the answer that you have just found. You ask, so where is the answer? This is the answer you have just found. And you need to use this to advantage to actually solve this question. You ask, how can that be? Because you might be thinking that this actually resemble more like the question that they asked, right? But don't be fooled by them. That is not true. This is an integration by itself that will make use of the one that you have just obtained. That is the derivative of your previous question. So you ask, how can we do that? So I need to see that. So coming back to this, I need you to move back to this line here. Okay? So this is the one that we are going to do. Okay? So catch this. I want you to remember we are trying to find the value of this, right? But I want you to do me a small favor. Integrate this. Yes, so that means we will write like that first, okay? So follow me, please. You're gonna write integration of negative, or rather e to the power negative 2x minus 2x e negative 2x. Okay, now don't forget about the dx at the end of it, huh? So you agree with me? You agree with me? Is isn't this equals to this one? Correct. So please write that now, please. So I'm going to write equals to. All right. So I do not want you to put a plus C over here. The reason is because this actually came from this question. Okay, so since they want you to make use of the answer that you have just found, right, so you can just do the inverse derivative or rather the inverse of it, which is actually the original question. Okay, so you see this thing that you have obtained is actually a dy dx. So if you just imagine you integrate your dy dx, that will be the original function. Legit, right? You don't have to put a plus c. The reason is because this that you have just obtained came from this and they ask you to use what you have just obtained, so we can just let it be like that first. Okay, now you probably ask, so what, right? I need to look at this now. I need to look at the left hand side over here. I need you to break it up into two parts. Okay, so first one, let's write this down. Okay, and this one as well. Okay, now I have forgotten my dx. Let me just put that in first. Okay, can y'all follow what am I trying to do now? That is making use of whatever answer I've just obtained, but breaking it up into two. You probably will be asking, why do you want to do that? Because I need you to see that this resemble this thing that we need to find. Okay, and your task, in fact, is to isolate this one. Okay, it's this. Okay, so but let's just take it one step at a time, right? Let's not rush. Let's just take it one step at a time. So that means you're not going to use the question that they give you at part A to solve this. Instead, you are going to use the answer from part A to solve this question. Okay, so and then this is what we're going to do. We're going to break it up into two parts and form the equation first. Okay, so now let's put it in. All right, now for these type of questions, you need to show also the ability to integrate the normal, functions. So, for instance, you need to know how to integrate this, which is not difficult. You probably will know that, but hang on a second because this is negative. So probably I want to make it positive because they asked for a positive one, right? So what you can do is to shift this to the right side or to the other side. So you will probably obtain something like this. Okay, so now let me just put that in perspective. Okay, this is what we have, which you can actually integrate it yourself. And then this one is the one that is on the right hand side of the equation. There's nothing you need to do, not at the moment. And the thing that I told you for the in the middle, we'll move it on to the other side. And what happened is this. This will be positive, and actually this is the one that I need you to show to them. Okay, so yep, okay, let me just put that down first because this one that I have, right, actually resemble the part B questions. Okay, it's kind of right but not entirely, right? So yep, okay, let me continue if you don't mind, huh? So with this in mind, your task is now to do one more thing. Okay, what you might ask. Okay, we'll touch on that later. Okay, we'll just need to do this one first. Okay, so you need to settle this. What is the integration of e to the power negative 2x? So you need to differentiate this as a negative 2, right? But in this case, you do not actually, multiply it, right? So you need to instead divide it. Okay, so I'm not going to be asking you to integrate this. And the integration of this, incidentally, is negative half e to the power of negative 2x. There is a plus c, obviously, but we'll just let it be, okay? What happens? Because if you look at this, the differentiation of this will result in this one, okay, so to speak. So that's what we are supposed to be getting. If you want, you can put a plus c, but we'll just put that then. Okay, but let me just put this inside together and then I put the constants right at the end of it. Okay, so this I'll just remove the c first for a while because I want to put this together. So basically this is what we are going to achieve, and then we will just add the c at the end of it. Okay, all right, that is kind of the question that we are supposed to answer. But okay, I want you to focus. This is what they want you to do, right? You will notice that not quite this one, not quite what they want. You see there's a 2 out there, right? So kindly do yourself a favor, take out the 2. And this remaining one inside is basically what they want you to find. Okay, so yeah, okay, let's just put it in. Sorry about the spacing, right? I'm actually very cramped at the right hand side. All right, so this is what we have. And the next task is just to divide this whole thing by 2 if you want. Okay, so you need to divide this whole thing by 2 right now. So what happens? You will be getting maybe a negative 1 over 4. Okay, e to the power of negative 2x. Why is it 1 over 4? Because it's divided by 2. Okay, and this one will be negative half e to the power of negative 2x. Now, for the c, doesn't matter because we don't have it actually. But you can write, no problem, as c or c over 2. right? So whatever, and that actually is the answer for the question. Okay, right? So this is what you need to find, and that's how we solve this type of questions. Right. So let me just recap for you. So assuming that you have actually solved the questions on top, okay, you need to in fact because the part B actually has the word hands. So they didn't say hands or otherwise. So if they say hands or otherwise, you might have a leeway if you are unable to do part A. But in an examinations like this, you are expected to actually solve for part A because this is just a product rule that you can use. So yeah, use your product rule. Now after that, this is what you have got, right? Now remember, part B says hence means you need to use the answer that you have found. So this is the answer that we have found, right? But it's nowhere near to this thing that I boxed up. You see, nowhere near yet. But if you expand back to where it was over here, you realize that this part over here kind of look like this. All right, and not this part because there's no x over here, but there is an x over here. So what happened is this: you just need to put it back and form back the equations because the integration of this is actually the function itself. Correct or not? So what you need to do now is to integrate individually. And for this part, you are expected to know how to integrate the exponential, right? So please do that. And for this part, if you move it to the other side, you need to take out the 2 because the question doesn't have a factor of 2. You need to take it out and divide the left hand side by 2 in this case. So you have got it working as such. All right. So keep on doing your good work, guys. Keep on working hard, right? And of course, if you have any questions you still have, do feel free to send to me. All right. So here's Mr. J signing off. See you guys soon. Take care. Bye bye.